Hey guys, it's always great to talk Cubs baseball with you. And coming up here, we got Matt Shaw. You can see him in the booth hanging out, one of the Cubs' top prospects in their first-round pick from a year ago. But before we talk baseball with the Cubs' rising star, make sure that you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We love when you do that right here on the Cubs baseball channel. Let's get this thing going. All right, what do you say, everybody, with Matt Shaw? I'm Mick Gillispie. Good to see you, man. I love the Otis shirt, too. I loved Otis. Great guy.
Yeah, I never got the chance to meet him, but obviously you hear stories, and, being able to wear the shirt is cool.
Yeah, well, he was a fantastic guy, and, it was just like my first trip with the Cubs on the charter, and then, he's taking care of my bag. He's like, to be in the hotel room, and it was felt like, wow, this is pretty cool. You'll probably get that treatment a lot more than me, but what was your experience like this spring training?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a blast. Getting to know some of the guys was really, really cool. Obviously, we just watched the game, being able to see all those guys and see a little bit more familiar faces, as last year, I don't really know the guys, but going into the season, being able to see a bunch of guys that I was able to get to know, become friends with, and now see them obviously do it on the biggest stage is really cool.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, you hung in there in spring training. And I say that, and you know that you could do that, but I mean, you just graduated college, or you just finished college, right? And for you to come up and get to Double-A your first season and win a championship, and not just win a championship, but be a big part of the championship, and then go to spring training with high expectations and deliver on those expectations, really, to me, shows what kind of a baseball player you are. I mean, for a young guy, how do you have so much experience mentally?
Yeah, I mean, the mental game of baseball is obviously so important. So for me, just kind of focusing on that, that's something that I've tried to work really hard on, is being able to understand the mental game of baseball, understand myself, what I'm trying to do, what the pitcher's trying to do. Everything around that aspect is something that, kind of seems to separate, being around the big league guys. Like, hey, these are the best big league guys. Why are they there? They seem to have a really good head on their shoulders. They know what they're doing. They know themselves. They have a good plan at the plate. They have a good plan at the field. They're good teammates. They do a lot that puts themselves in such a good position. So being able to see those guys and then, take that into my own, what I'm doing and be able to kind of emulate them a little bit is cool.
Yeah, well, you did it well. And you're being asked a lot, right? You played shortstop at Maryland. You did play third some too. And then you played second base last year for the Smokies, mostly. Now you're playing third base again, and I think that's part of the Cubs' plan. But for you, as a guy that's being asked to do different things, you look like you've played third base forever over there defensively.
Yeah, I mean, third has been a lot of fun. We have really great infield coaches. Dash, KG back in Arizona.
KG.
Yeah, KG Moto with the big league club, but
he's going to be watching this.
Yeah, too. I know. But we have a lot of great guys that, are helping me work through this process. And, I love defense. I love doing it, whether it's shortstop, whether it's second, whether it's third base, whether it's outfield, it doesn't really matter. There's really an art to defense that's really enjoyable. So, as we go through this process, I'm just having a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell. Baseball's changed a lot too. It's not like when I was playing, you spent a lot of time out on a sand lot somewhere. I mean, you guys come up, but you've been probably playing in really high level organized games since you were a little kid, right? You travel ball, you do all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can tell. I mean, it's crazy. I have my godson's one of the best players in Maryland. And I mean, he's been going around the country playing baseball since he was like a little tiny kid. They came up here and played, and it was like watching, 8-year-old major leaguers a few years ago, And so you come up as a young guy, but you're not young as far as knowing how to play the game, where to be in position. And I'm sure that has to do with playing all of those high level games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we play a lot of games. You go from playing college to playing summer ball. I think the last 2 or 3 years, I've played close to 100 games,
Wow.
and that's just in college. So, I think something that I talk about a lot with, our skipper, some other guys is like, I think an underrated thing in the minor leagues is being able to play a lot, because the more you play, the more you're learning, it doesn't matter what position you're playing, doesn't matter, where you're hitting the lineup. If you're playing every day, you're figuring out how to do that. And that's a process, how your body feels, how your mind feels, because most of the time you don't feel very good. That's just kind of how it goes. And so finding a way to compete that day, finding a way to like figure out how to play every day, I think is, a little bit of an art, and it takes some time to figure that out. But I also think that it's really important, whether you're doing great or you're not, to be out there every day and learn what that feels like.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And it's something that I really haven't thought about in a while. But when you go from college and then you play in a summer wood bat league, you're still picking up all of those games, right? And so, did you play in the Cape?
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing as playing a small season, in professional baseball. But I mean, honestly, to see not just you, but like your generation of player get out of college at a high level and then come here and succeed really goes to show at the preparation that you guys have done to prepare yourself to come here and succeed.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit too, I think, is like organizations believing in their players at a younger age. Mm-hmm. You look at around the league, and there's some guys that made it up really quickly. And, you just know that their organization believes in that player. There's a lot of really talented players that kind of get lost in translation because they're in low A, high A, double A, whatever. Right. And it's taken them 2, 3, 4 years. And they're like, what am I doing wrong? And that happens. And that, that was a little bit of the past, but I think kind of the new age is like, hey, let's believe in our players. Let's put them in a position to fail, knowing they're going to learn, and that's how it's been going. And you got young players like Wyatt Langford and Nolan Shanuel and other players like that who are really being very successful at the major league level.
Yeah, Noah made it last year.
Yeah.
Same draft class as you.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So it's great to see that these young guys are, able to go and, just do it and play at the major league level. And I think it goes to show a lot of organizations like, hey, like this is possible. These guys have worked their entire life to be in this situation and they want to be there. Yeah,
well, you're in a stacked system. Did you see where MLB Pipeline ranked the most loaded teams?
No.
Did you see this? So Baseball America did one too. The Smokies, I'm going to go with Pipeline because we're number 2. But then if you go to Baseball America, Smokies are number 3. But then Iowa's number 9 in Baseball America and number 10 on Pipeline. So those are the 2 upper level teams with the Cubs, And so here you are drafted by the Cubs. And you're already in Double A, and you're kind of surrounded by a lot of great players. We saw Pete Crow Armstrong last year. Owen Casey was on your team that won the championship. Look around, and it's like every position seems to have some really good players in it.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And that's kind of the cool part about going through this is I've gotten to play with a lot of those guys who are really talented players.
Yeah.
Owen and I have a great relationship. Pete and I have a great relationship. BJ Murray and I have a great relationship.
Love BJ.
There's a lot of guys that really, they love the game. They love being around the game. They love being at the park. We're all learning from each other. And I think that's what's so awesome about the organization right now. There's so many talented players. We're communicating so much. It's like each one of us is learning a little bit from each other. And I think as a whole, that's kind of just moving us forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you grew up, you have to be a Red Sox fan. You grew or as a kid, right? I mean, you grew up in Massachusetts, and you would have been in there through some pretty good years for the Red Sox. So your favorite team, favorite players, who did you model your game after?
Yeah, I mean, Dustin Pedroia, obviously a little bit.
I knew it.
I mean, that's kind of an easy one, but really it is the truth. I mean, he just had such a different style about the way he played, than a lot of guys where he was just like, he was on it defensively, offensively, base running, everything. And, you look around the league and there's guys that do it, but, there's not many, to be so in tune and so good at so many different aspects of the game is really cool to watch. Like as a true fan, you're like, wow, he does this well, this well, this well. That, the casual fan might not see, but as you watch these guys a lot, you're like, wow, they're really, really impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Did you see him win the World Series? I'm sure, right?
I didn't. Times? I mean, not in person, but I saw him win a few World Series. Yeah.
So you were there, and then you had the Patriots.
Oh yeah.
So pretty good sports time.
Oh,
right? And then the Celtics and the Bruins, right?
Oh yeah. No, plenty of championships to go around that city.
Have you had a chance to meet any of the Cubs greats?
I have in passing. Yeah, there's definitely a few that I've gotten to meet a little bit. I think just with the sheer number of people that are like at spring training, it's a little bit overwhelming for them. So, nothing more than like a, hey, how are you? It's good to see you. Stuff
Yeah,
like
right,
that.
right. So like Rhino and Andre Dawson and Billy Williams and stuff like that. When being a first round pick, I mean, that's what a great accomplishment.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Was that a surprise to you? Were you surprised that you got drafted by the Cubs? Were you expecting it? How did draft day go?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously an amazing day. I think Chicago is one of the teams that I really wanted to be with. There's something about the organization, something about the city and the field, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of Boston. But it was nice to be like, yeah, I kind of want to get out of Boston. I mean, I don't live near Boston, but get out of Massachusetts, see another city, be a part of a whole different fan base, which is something that I wanted. So, draft day couldn't have gone better. Obviously Chicago was a team that I really wanted to go with. And, there weren't necessarily any surprises other than that my agents had texted me like, hey, like, get ready. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that the next pick, it was going to be Chicago. So I was completely surprised when Chicago had picked me, because I was figuring I'd get a call like, hey, they're going to whatever, but it was a little bit more discreet. So I was a little bit surprised to get picked.
Well, that's cool. I got to thank you for this right here. Show you guys right here. Only took 45 years to win this, but you caught the last out. What was the playoff run like last year in AA?
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly playoffs in the minor leagues go by like that. I mean, we played 4 games and 4 wins. So obviously,
so easy.
Yeah, it's really it's quick.
I said this like all the losses. I mean, we were called the Chokies because we lost all these, and it's like, wow. I mean, it was that easy.
Yeah, 4 wins just like that.
When you're good, though.
Yeah,
right?
No, it was awesome. I mean, obviously being able to win a championship is really cool. I wasn't, able to be here obviously the whole year and like really grind through kind of the dog days of the minor leagues to get that championship, which I'm sure to some guys was like, made it feel really special. And it was special for me. But, just seeing everyone, how much they put into that year and coming out with a championship, coming out of the ring is awesome.
How many rings do you have?
Rings do I have? I have this one. I got maybe 2 from Maryland. 2 from Maryland.
Like Big Ten championships?
Yeah, Big Ten championship. Well, 1 Big Ten championship, and then 2 regular season championships, and then 1 at like the Big Ten tournament. And then 1 from Bourne in the Cape.
Nice.
We won the Cape League.
Well, that's cool, man. So you've won along the way. I just have this feeling with you guys like they're not going to be able to keep you guys out. Like it's coming, I just feel like that. And then I feel like you're going to keep on winning up there. And I think the depth of the Cubs organization right now is just off the chart. Like when I look at these teams and I see you being up there soon. I mean, I think you could probably be up there right now and hang, man. I mean, the way you play defense, to me, it's like you can't put a guy in the big leagues. You can't play defense. You know what I'm saying? Because the ball finds you. It's like a magnet, which you probably know that. I mean, you've been around the game forever. Why is that? You got a guy that can't catch. The ball's always hit to him, right? But you do that, and you can also hit. So I'm picturing you, and then you look around and you're like, well, PC's going to be there. You got Lone Casey's going to be there. I mean, you start to like do the math, and you're like, you guys are going to turn around, and it's going to be a lot of you guys from this organization over the last 2 or 3 years all together there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you hope. Obviously, we've been watching the games. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but they have a great team. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team. They have great players. They've been playing great defense. They've been hitting. They've been walking. Obviously, they've gone through a couple injuries, but, they're still finding ways to put the ball over the plate. So it's just, I mean, all around, it's really exciting because you're watching those guys like, wow, those are the big leaguers, and they're really so good. And you're kind of realizing a little bit like, wow, that's really close. And then at the same time realizing like, I'm here for a reason because I got to get better, So I think a little bit of mix of both for all of us, all the guys that really want to be there. You talk about PCA, you talk about Owen, I'm sure we all feel the same way. Like, hey, we'd love to be there right now, and that's awesome. But we got time here, and we're gonna work our butts off so that when that time comes, we're ready. And I think for all of us, when that time comes, I think it's going to be at the right time.
What are you working on right now?
I mean, I have never played so many games at third base. I've never played 6 days in a row at third base for months at a time. So for me, we talked a little bit about earlier, that's kind of something for me is like can I be ready, locked in, ready to rock and roll every single pitch for 6 games a week for, 3 hours a game at third base? And, that's something that I feel really passionate about, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, you've gone over there like a fish to water. I mean, when I see people struggle, first off, it's footwork to me. Like you got to have the right footwork, and then balance, and then arm angle. There's so many different things that can go wrong, but none of that has happened to you. So was this just a natural thing, or I mean, are those all areas where you like really thought about that?
Yeah, I wish it was so easy, but no,
you make it look easy.
No, but
like the championship.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time doing defense in off season. Third base was really the position that I hadn't played a lot yet. I played second, obviously, like you said, with the Smokies. I played short. So, I spent a lot of time in the off season playing third, getting accustomed to third, getting used to third. We spent enough time there where by the time the season came around, it was kind of ready to roll. Like I felt, more comfortable there. And I felt really, honestly, the most comfortable at third than I do in the rest of the infield. So. Really?
Yeah. Well, the hot corner over there. All right. A couple more things before we get out of here. You were in a lot of spring training games, and you played excellent. I mean, they had to basically tell everyone, hey, he's not making the team. Everybody was like, he's got to make the team. Like, just slow down a little bit. Like, let's develop him some more. Craig Counsell, how was he to play for? What was it like being on the diamond with the team that we're just watching on TV?
Yeah, I mean, it's like exactly what you'd imagine. It's like a dream come true. You're playing with these big league guys. You're playing with Nico and Dansby and Morel and all
pretty
these
good infield.
Oh my gosh, yeah, all these really amazing players. So it really is a dream. I mean, that's what I've been dreaming of for the last however long I can remember. So, thinking about these guys and then being able to play with them, and really them having such an open mindset to young guys coming in and wanting to help us learn. Dansby, a couple times I was able to feel with him, and just like picking a guy's brain like that is just, I mean, it's amazing. It's really priceless. Because who else is going to get to be fielding with Dansby Swanson? Like one-on-one, other than obviously the big league team. And it's like, wow, you get to be there, you get to learn, you get to see these guys, and it's really phenomenal. And then Counsell is someone who's just, I mean, he puts so much belief in his players. He understands the game so well. I mean, the guy played for, 15 years, and it's like, wow, being able to be around a guy who's been around the game so much, there's little nuances that he does that's amazing. But I think the most important thing he does is like, I understand what these players are going through, and I understand how to make them feel comfortable, make them in a game that is so uncomfortable and so much failure, to have them believe in themselves and have them feel comfortable. And that's really, as a player, from your skipper, from your organization, those are like the two most important things you ask for is, hey, can you make us feel comfortable, and can you make us feel like, we're believed in and we can do this, because it goes a long way. Some guys may not admit it, but I think having that belief from the organization, from your coaching staff is huge.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's got the job, and he's one of the best in the business, and that's why he's there. All right. This thing right here, and I was showing you this, and I talked about this the other day. I think this is one of the coolest pieces of memorabilia ever, right? Because it's the championship pennant they gave away, but it's got the starting lineup of game 2, the decisive game on there, and you're leading off. What is your favorite piece of baseball memorabilia?
Memorabilia.
Yeah, and it could be cards, piece. It could be an autograph, it could,
what a question.
Because we all collect stuff. I mean, you know how it is. Like you can't not.
No, I know it.
Bobbleheads.
Yeah, I had my fair share. I can picture the little Boston Red Sox little plastic cap that you get the Dippin' Dots in.
Yes.
I can picture that so vividly. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite piece of memorabilia, but my most memorable piece of memorabilia is definitely the little Red Sox baseball cap with those Dippin' Dots, and you take it home after, and you're like, it's just something about it that's just so baseball. Yeah,
I did too. We used to get them at Baskin Robbins, and then it was like, once I got the Cubs, and I had to get all the teams to play the Cubs, So it's like the Baskin Robbins would only have like 8 of the teams. And then it'd be like, why don't they have the Cardinals? Why don't they have the, it's just so funny. But now with, it's changed now. I can just go buy them all on Amazon, right?
That's true.
But about autographs or anything like that, like championship ring, like pair of cleats, somebody ever give you anything that you're like, man, this is jerseys? Not there yet. Baseball cards?
Nothing like blow you away. I don't have too many sign really anything. I'm trying to think of anything in particular, but not right now. No, but I do have hopes of many players right now. I mean, just thinking the other day, we were in the spring training game against Mike Trout, and I'm playing second, and he's standing there at second base. Someone who's just so talented, someone you've been following for the last 10 years or so, and being able to stand next to them, you're like, wow, like that's really cool. And not to say that it was any different about the first games with Dansby or Nico or Morel or any of those guys, but it's really cool.
Enjoy the process. I remember Ryan Sandberg saying when he got into his first All-Star game, he just went around and got everybody's autograph. Yeah. Billy Williams told me that Rogers Hornsby, you know who that guy is? I'm talking about way back. And when you see Billy, ask him about this. He said that he used to sit behind him in spring training and tell him to know his strike zone. And then he'll talk about that, and he'll go, if I just would have got a box of balls signed by Hornsby. So you don't have a lot of access to that stuff over the years. But hey, great talking to you, man. Continued success. It's been a lot of fun watching the way that you play the game, the intelligence that you bring to the table as a young guy. And I think you're going to have a long, sustained career, man. I mean, it's like you got all the tools for it. So and thanks for the ring.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I got the call the last out. So, I mean, I hear me saying your name every day. Cool. They play it constantly now. Yeah. What was it like catching the last out of a championship?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I actually have caught in like 3 last outs. I remember it's crazy. I just like thinking about it. In the Big Ten tournament, I caught the last out, I think, as well. And then in that game, caught the last out. And I'm just like thinking back, like, those are memories I'm going to keep with me forever.
You got the ball still?
I really do think I have the ball, and I'm not 100% sure because so many balls end up falling in your bag. But I kept it. Now. I put it in my pocket, and I brought it back to the locker room. So I'm saying that there's a pretty good chance that I still have that ball.
Yeah, was it Doug Mankiewicz that got the last out of the curse-breaking World Series for the Red Sox?
Oh, did he?
Know that?
I don't know
he
that
stuck
story.
it in his back pocket. Oh, these are big deals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
45 years. I mean, think about that's a long time. So
that's plenty long.
Matt Shaw, thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. You guys like and subscribe, and we will talk to you again really soon.